So it's finally a warm sunny day here in Manitoba. So I can finally get to work with the door open in the garage. So let's get welding. I'm gonna finally finish up the floor in the Civic. So I got the panel all cut to shape. It seems to fit pretty good. Again, I'm just gonna have to weld and shape as I go. This will be a similar process to what I did on my Jeep when I did the rusty rockers on that one. So if you haven't seen that video yet, check it out. I won't go into too much detail on this one since I've already filmed a similar project. So let's get to it. Okay, so I got all the welding done and all the grinding. I ended up doing some extra plug welds in the middle here. So what I did is I drilled through the existing spot welds that were on there, and then I re-welded it in, so now it's really solid again. And I also ended up cutting out this seat mount here because it was completely rusted. From the factory they only come plug welded in a couple of spots, so what I did is I cut around it and I kind of added some new metal around where I needed to, like up here. This is all new. And then I just put it back in. I welded along here, 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 and up here. So I think it'll be a lot stronger now than it was to begin with. So now I'm going to take the brake clean in a rag and I'm just going to clean it up really good. I vacuumed it out already, and then next step is going to be priming. Got all the priming done, so now I guess I gotta sit and wait for it to dry. It's a little cold out now, so it's gonna take a while. Now the primer is dried and I've sanded it down just to scuff it up a bit. Now we get to have some fun with fiberglass. So I want to make sure that that all the welds are sealing properly. So this will make sure that it's 100% sealed and no water is going to get in there. It'll also make it look a little bit better too. So that's what I'm doing next around all the seams. So let's get started. Okay, so this section is pretty much done. I'll probably go around a little bit yet just to take care of some of the air bubbles. So we'll wait for that to cure and then we'll start sanding. So the fiberglass is taking forever to cure because it's so cold in here. So Tim's going to come over in a little bit and he's going to help me with these coilovers. So as you can see, or maybe you can't because it's so dark. So the only thing keeping us from driving this thing on the street really is the ride height now. It's sitting so low with that heavy motor in there that I'm scraping on the way out of the garage, and I really don't want to scrape up my oil pan or the new exhaust that I put on there. So we're going to try to adjust these to make it a bit higher, but there's this stupid screw in here keeping the collar from turning, and it's such a dumb setup. Like, look at that. It sits in there and gets completely rusted and there's no way to turn it. So we're going to try getting some coilover wrenches and see if maybe we can force this collar to go. If not, we're going to end up having to remove the entire assembly, drill it out and see if we can adjust it that way, put a new adjusting screw in there, and then we'll call it a day. And worst case scenario, if we just get fed up with this, the white Civic has a set of coilovers in it that we're just going to take and swap out with this one.
And I didn't bring my work boots, so I got to use my snow boots, which are still in my car, just like my ice skates. There we go. Ready to go. Oh, hey. The coil is out.
Sure is.
And we're trying to get this collar loosened up. It's corroded in, so we're going to clean it up. Spray some lubricant in there and then try to get this, an Allen key in there and loosen up that little set screw so that we can loosen the collar and raise the shocks up. Raise the springs up so the car doesn't sit so low in the front. Why is that, Matt?
Because we got a big old heavy H22 in there. Alrighty, we've got it cleaned up as best we could. Used a wire brush on some of the threads in between here. We got the ratchet hooked up and we're gonna round it off now.
Yeah, that's not what we want to do, but it's what's gonna happen. There we go, just rounded it. Beauty.
Alright, so next step will be drilling it out. So as I predicted, we got tired of drilling pretty fast, so we drove the white Civic in here. Man, it's cold. Look how much I'm shaking.
Yeah, it's cold.
And we're going to take the coilovers off of that and put them on the black Civic. So got the coilovers out of the white Civic. Turns out they're D2 coilovers. We were told they were skunk 2 from the previous owner, but they'll do just fine. They'll be a lot better than the ones that were in the black Civic anyway. So we'll get these ones cleaned up, adjust the ride height, and get them back on there. Alright, so it's been a couple of days since we last worked on the Civic, but we did get the coilovers installed and adjusted. So here's the fronts. We raised them up about an inch or so, and then the rears we got done too. We raised them up about a half an inch. We haven't lowered the car down yet, so we may need to adjust them further just to make sure I'm at the right height that I want. And now the fiberglass is all dried, finally. Took a couple of days since it was so cold, but it's finally a warmer day today, so we should be able to get lots done. Now I want to work on the underside of the car. Now I gotta take care of all these seams up here, so I'll probably put some seam sealer in there and then I'll do fiberglass there as well. There's just so much undercoating under this car, so the first thing that I'm going to do is take my grinder with a stripping wheel on it, and I'm just going to go around all the seams and grind down all of that undercoating because it's so thick on there. Like even when I was welding, it was almost impossible because it kept catching on fire. So yeah, I'm going to strip that down and then start on the fiberglass. So I just finished with the seam sealer. Now I gotta wait for this to dry. So I think I got all the seams taken care of. So while I'm waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and start sanding the fiberglass inside. And once we're sanded down inside here, then I think we're just about ready to start using the box line. Now I got the fiberglass sanded and I primed it again, so while I'm waiting for the primer to dry, I'm going to get started taking the center console out, and then I should be pretty much ready for paint. The floor is finally done in the Civic for the most part. We got it all welded up, fiberglass, sealed, box liner, and undercoat. So now we can finally move on to some fun stuff.
What is that, Matt?
Oh, okay. Obviously we have to lower the car a bit more. The coilovers are ridiculously high. We shouldn't have adjusted them at all. So we're going to lower it down a bit. What else do we have on our list here? We got to do a fan switch at some point.
Master cylinder.
We got to do the clutch master cylinder. We'll be doing that next, because this one is leaking all over my freshly painted floor.
Yep.
What else?
What else is important there? The biggest thing, I think, is the fan switch.
Yeah, I'd like to get a fan switch, because I've been driving it for a little while now, and the fan hasn't come on yet. The car hasn't really overheated at all, but it would be nice to know that the fan is going to turn on when I want it to. So, yeah, stay tuned and look forward to future updates.
I'm gonna press video.
That's good. Sit about the same. Just get a hunch. Posture. All right. So.
Oh, you made it weird. And the horn. We should get the horn working too.
Oh yeah. Also, the horn isn't working, so we got to get that to work too. And there's a lot of butt sweat on my seats. I'd like to get the seats cleaned as well.
And when he says a lot of butt sweat, he means a lot of butt sweat.
Like, I rested my face on it, and my face was slimy afterwards.
It's a lot of butt sweat. And that's someone else's butt sweat, which is the worst kind of butt sweat. We're going to take rust-proof floor off.
Yeah, we can cross a lot of stuff off the list already, so better get to it.
Alright. Enough of this dilly-dally.